My name is Tony Bates, and I spent over 50 years conducting research into the effectiveness of technology for teaching in higher education, with a particular interest in video. In video 2 in this series, we looked at using already made video in your teaching. In this video, I'm focusing on making a video yourself. Professor Claudia Krebs, Professor of Human Anatomy at the University of British Columbia, Canada, has made a series of high-quality videos demonstrating the anatomy of the human brain. Let's take a look at an extract from her work.
In this medial view of the brain, you can identify a continuous strip of cortex which swings around the surface of the brain. This lobe has been dubbed the limbic lobe due to its intimate relationship with the limbic system. It spans the frontal, parietal, and temporal lobes. Deep within the brain are spaces filled with cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF. This is a 3D reconstruction of the ventricular system. You can see the two C-shaped lateral ventricles in the cerebral hemispheres. They have an anterior horn deep within the frontal and parietal lobes of the forebrain, a posterior horn which extends into the occipital lobe, and an inferior horn which extends into the temporal lobe. These lateral ventricles are connected to the third ventricle in the midline. The third ventricle is connected to the fourth ventricle through the cerebral aqueduct.
In this extract from one of Professor Krebs' videos is a good example of a general principle or affordance of using video. And that is, video can be used where resources are scarce or unsuitable for student experimentation, such as with live animals and human body parts. It's also a good example of a high-quality video using a professional crew. I visited Professor Krebs to talk about why and how she made these videos.
We set out to make these videos to try out a different approach to the classroom. Neuroanatomy can be really overwhelming for students. There's so much information to take in, and we really wanted to create a video that the students could watch before class so that they would be familiar with the topics and have heard the terminology and be hooked into it so that they would be interested in the subject matter and then hit the ground running in class. We're very lucky here at the University of British Columbia. We have a robust body donation program. We're very grateful to the donors from across the province who donate their bodies for education and research. So we do have access to human remains to teach anatomy and neuroanatomy, but it's limited to being here on campus or in one of our satellite campuses. Access to this material, to these learning resources, is very valuable. And part of the reason to create these videos was to provide access to this wonderful material and this wonderful resource to more people. When we were making these videos, we really emphasized the quality of production. And the reason for this was that we really wanted to make our donors shine. We're dealing with human remains. We really wanted to make them look their best, give them the respect that they deserve. Not every video needs this production value. The most important thing is to create a script that makes sense, a script that you co-develop with your students, because it's really about student learning. And when it makes sense to the students and you've got your topic sort of laid out like that, you can record it with your cell phone with very simple means. And that's effective. It really is all about the script that you have to communicate effectively. Everything else adds to it. And if there's one thing where you want to invest, it would be investing in audio. That is absolutely important. Bad audio is unforgivable. People disengage. It sounds weird. They just walk away from it. We were very lucky when we made these videos. I had received funding from the university through the Teaching and Learning Enhancement Fund, and I collaborated with the EdTech group within the Faculty of Medicine, And they looked at it and they were like, okay, I think we can do something quite special here. And they had contacts within the film industry in Vancouver, and people were excited about this project. So we had a professional crew who came in to support this, so that we had great lighting, great audio, and the most important part was writing the scripts together with my students. So this was really the key to creating these videos, and it took many iterations, because as a professor you sort of just like talking and hearing your own voice, and you want to say all the details, and the students were like, we don't know what you're saying, we don't understand. And so we went back over and over again until it fit and it was right and it was short enough and succinct and to the point, and it would work in a video in that format.
I then asked her how she uses these videos in her teaching.
The way I use the videos now is that I post them on our learning management system for the students to view before class. It's an expectation that they view them beforehand. Depending on the class that I'm teaching, there might be a quick knowledge test to see, did they watch it? Do they know some of the things that were taught there? And then I don't have to repeat that in class, which frees up valuable in-person time for discussions, for going through cases and making the anatomy really come to life and engaging the students in a very active way.
I asked what the impact on student learning had been.
When we first implemented the videos, we wanted to know what the impact would be. So we looked at exam performance before introduction of the videos and then after introduction of the videos. And this was in a medical school class. These are all super bright students. They all are very high achievers. The entire normal distribution is shifted towards like 80%, 90%, right? Like these are excellent students. So it was very unlikely for us to see an improvement because they were already so good. And to our surprise, we were actually able to shift it even further. So the performance was even better. And I think my biggest success in this was there was nobody who failed the exam. So for us, that really validated the approach.
I also asked if there were any unexpected outcomes from making these videos.
I think our biggest impact was really how these videos went viral and are being used across the globe. And particularly during the COVID pandemic, when people had to rely on media to teach and to make things accessible to students, I know people were using these videos very intensely in their classes to support student learning. So that was a huge impact. I still receive letters from everywhere in the world thanking UBC for having created these videos to make knowledge accessible and to share these resources. I strongly believe in open education. We're a public university, and as a public university, I feel like we can't hoard our knowledge. We need to share it. I feel like it's our mandate to share knowledge, to distribute it to the world. And videos are an easy way of doing that. The platforms exist, the distribution networks exist. Why wouldn't we do it?
If I could pick out the most important points from Professor Krebs' interview, they would be: it's really important to have a script that is both clear and succinct. This requires working in conjunction with students to ensure that they will fully understand what the video is showing. Although it is often possible to make excellent videos using very simple technology such as mobile phones, there will be circumstances where high-quality production facilities will be needed. Video can help even the most able students improve their learning outcomes. Because such resources as a human brain and high-quality production are difficult to obtain, it's particularly valuable that Professor Krebs has made these videos widely accessible as an open educational resource. Our hope in making these series is that Professor Krebs' video and the others will inspire you to increase your own use of video in your teaching so your students and you can benefit. For more on the research that underlies these videos and for more examples of video use in higher education teaching, see Chapter 8.4 of Teaching in a Digital Age. This is a free, open access, online textbook for instructors.